Let's go, Justin Beard. We are live.
That's the
Indiana
energy
Hoosiers
we
live.
need.
Indiana Hoosiers live 38, titled the Smokies. We'll get into kind of what that is in a little bit. But Brad, how was your weekend? How are you doing?
My weekend. What did
Yeah.
I do? Hung out with some friends on Friday, and then on Saturday hung out with some more friends. Just a lot of, classic Chicago summer, kind of just enjoying the weather and just getting after it, going to some nice bars and stuff. And yeah, just making memories that will last a lifetime and creating bonds and connections. And yeah, it's awesome. How was your weekend?
No, it was good, Brad. I saw the Greensboro Grasshoppers for my birthday.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's awesome. Did they win?
Yeah, they did. Hell of a squad in Greensboro. You know what I didn't get, though?
Who are they affiliated of?
They're an
Quick
affiliate of the Pirates. Actually, the Pirates' second-rated prospect is on the team, but he wasn't playing. But all those dudes matched. They were just hitting nukes.
Yeah.
It was like 4 or 5 homers. It was kind of crazy. I saw some dude hit 10 celebrations, legit, like running around the bases. It was straight out of like sketch comedy. It was actually incredible.
That's awesome.
It was great stuff. You know what I didn't get?
What?
A happy birthday text from my co-host.
It's a good call out, I totally knew it was your birthday, and I just didn't do it. But we were definitely thinking about it. Oh, I am. Yeah, that's on me. And
No, I'm just busting your balls. I did get
here, and yeah,
it's very big of you. Very big of you.
yeah.
I
I'm gonna
did
take accountability.
appreciate it, Justin. I appreciate it.
27, right?
Yeah, I'm old now, Brad.
Yeah, at least I know your age.
Yeah, it's because we're the same age. I digress. We'll start here. We'll start here because it's pretty obvious we like the type of week we're in right now in terms of like Indiana football, Big Ten football. It's an extremely slow news week. Now, that doesn't mean that we have nothing to talk about. I promise there's plenty to talk about on this show. But in terms of what was being circulated nationally, the biggest thing was people freaking out about Indiana's schedule, which was literally reported over 2 weeks ago. It's something we've covered on this show for 2 straight weeks. That got blown up today for whatever reason. The fact that you have this contingent of people who continue to tell you Indiana football is irrelevant and they don't matter, and then you put up a graphic of their non-conference schedule in 2 years, which is subject to change, and everybody just starts freaking out. So I guess we'll start there, Brad.
I mean, it really got blown up because I think the report that we're paying $500,000 to Virginia to not play them. I'll be honest, not a great look.
I mean, that's significantly less than that was less than I thought it was going to be.
I want to preface this. I tweeted earlier that I don't care who we beat by 40 in the non-con. I stand by that. I don't care at the end of the day. I will say, pulling away from Virginia is not necessarily something that I'm like happy about. Like, I'm not like, oh, that's a good thing. I think it's better to, prepare with bottom tier ACC and Big 12 teams moving forward. I think it's a really good idea to get us prepped for the Big 10 slate rather than playing a Kennesaw State or an Indiana State. I will say Old Dominion, I was watching some tape on them. I think they're going to be a good test. However, that's like week 1, right? So that could be, that's a team that lost to South Carolina week 1 last year by only 4 points on the road. And South Carolina turned out to be pretty good that season as well. And they didn't even have the guy who ended up being the starting quarterback toward the end of the year start that game. It was Grant Wilson in that one. And then Colton Joseph, who I was watching the film on, very high on, by the way, will definitely pose some problems as a true dual threat quarterback. 1,600 passing yards, 600 rushing yards last year. It's never a good thing to avoid as much, good competition early as you can, but it also makes sense in the sense that, like, hey, I don't want to risk our playoff chances with a Bama or a Texas early in the year. I really don't think we're there yet, to be honest. And that doesn't mean that we're not a rising power in college football. I just think we still need to build momentum to get to where we want to be. And that's kind of where this comes from. with that being said, I think we could have beaten Virginia. I don't know why we're moving away from them, and stacking days, stacking weeks, stacking months. Obviously, these things take time, but I think we're a little bit past Virginia at this point in time, and would have been cool to have a kind of a more exciting game, because like not gonna lie, like I watch every game obviously, and it's a lot easier to get hyped up for a Virginia game than it is going to be Indiana State or Kennesaw State later this year.
I don't know. It's two teams you're gonna beat by multiple touchdowns. At the end of the day, like I trust what this football program is doing. I also trust the fact that at some point in the near future, and like especially before 2030 or 2031, when that Notre Dame non-con is, that they're just gonna like the networks are gonna come calling, and the money is gonna be there. And at a certain point, like you're not gonna be able to say no to those games. And there was a couple of Purdue fans. It's funny to listen to the Purdue fans talk about Indiana football like gonna take anything they say, but like it doesn't hurt Indiana in recruiting, the fact that they're going to be able to win all these games, but like it would be a nice like recruiting piece if you're able to not only be competitive in those types of non-con games and win them. And like you said, and this is something that I've said for months, I said this on Mark Rogers' show, I've said this on our show, like Indiana is in a really great place, but if you look at their like roster depth and the age of their roster and the age of their starters compared to the depth, it's like those are like you worry about roster attrition versus like a team like Ohio State, a team like Georgia, who's just been able to recruit at such a high level for so long that their 3s and 4s would start at most places in the country. So it's like you're less worried about an injury there versus like an injury to Indiana. That being said, we're well on our way to being one of those schools that's just like you supplement through the portal what you need, and you really don't have to like get a majority of your roster from there. But I don't know, man. Like to be like Indiana is irrelevant and doesn't matter, and then to have this much commotion and fuss about their non-con schedule in 2027 and beyond is just you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. It's crazy. So I laugh.
I think you nailed on the head in terms of like what I meant by we're not there yet. Like that roster attrition piece. Right? Like we're not reloading with 5 stars every year. There's a chance that we might go youth movement next year just with the amount of guys we brought in over the past 3 recruiting cycles with Signetti, that he might stick it out with those guys and might not bring in as many transfers next year and might go a little younger. That's all hearsay for me, but that is what could happen next year. And I could totally see kind of where they're coming from in terms of, architecting the schedule in a way to where they get 3 true cupcake tune-ups before they go into Big Ten play, which is probably something that they need, because I think confidence is key. You drop one of those early games, you're at risk of, I always use the Florida State example last year, lost that week 1 game to Georgia Tech and really just couldn't because they came in with very high hopes. They lose that week 1 game. It kind of just deflates everything that they were doing all off season and just kind of becomes a cloud over your head as you go through the season. So just starting out hot, I think, is important. And yeah, and like on the flip side, like if we were to schedule Texas or something like that and we lose that one, I don't think that's as big of a deal. But it's not like we're running away scared thinking that we're going to lose to Virginia. It's more so we want to ensure that we're beating the piss out of some teams before we get, that Big Ten slate, which a lot of people don't realize is the toughest in-conference slate in the country. Doing that 9-game gauntlet in the Big Ten now, with probably the best coaches of any conference in the country, top to bottom. I mean, we're talking at the bottom, we're talking Deshaun Foster, Mike Loxley, who I'm very high on both those guys. And yeah, I deal with those guys week in and week out on top of all the big dogs that are already in it. So yeah, it's really not, I think people are overblowing it. And that just comes with you being relevant, right? People get upset that we're maybe dodging Virginia. I was getting shit in my group chat today. Some SEC folks telling me that we're running scared. And I'm like, I don't care. We would beat Virginia by 40. Like, use your brain. Like, we're not worried about losing.
So many people complain about things that happen off the football field when there is literally Curt Signetti Indiana tape that says the contrary. But the other thing I want to throw at you, Brad, is along the lines of like the schedule is not set in stone. Like we literally just watched them buy out Virginia. Who's to say they're not going to add somebody in the near future? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but like they literally just bought somebody out so they can add somebody in the future. The playoff is inevitably going to expand. It's inevitable. And if you really think about it, like your margin for error in a 12-team playoff is extremely low, which I appreciate and I understand. And so if you're building your schedule for a 12-team playoff, you need all the wins you can possibly get. That being said, if the playoff expands to 16 and you can afford 2 losses and still be viewed as a really good team and get in, then I could see teams start taking more liberties with their non-con schedule.
100%. And like I'm eyeing, there's 2 open slots right now from now until basically through 2029. 2026 and 2028 each have 1 open slot. My dream is to bring that IU Kentucky rivalry back. I think that would be awesome for the sport, the blue on red, just the cross-state rivalry, just like, you know, the SEC, they play their 8-game schedule, but they do, like, I will give them credit here. They usually do schedule 3 cupcakes, but then they usually have the big rivalries, right? Like they're Florida gets Florida State, Georgia gets Georgia Tech. Kentucky gets Indiana. Why not we start that back up again? Because I don't think Kentucky's doing that with anyone these days. So we can just bring that back. I think that would be awesome for the sport. They used to play each other every year, and that is something that I really want. Like I can give a rat's ass about playing Louisville. I think it's a true basketball rivalry, but Indiana Kentucky is true border state hate, and I think we got to bring that back in football, 100%. Would love to get that done. Like, you know, like basically my dream, like every other year, where you're either playing Kentucky or Notre Dame and compete for national titles. Like that is kind of where I want Indiana to be as a football program.
I full blown agree with you. The other thing that came out today that was not new news, we did get a couple pieces of new news, and I'll get into that in a second, but the Bison was announced as breaking news today for some reason, when we've known Hooser the Bison is coming back for over a month now. We've had the promos, we've had the official reveal, the on back. Like I have no idea why this was labeled as breaking news. We did finally get though an official first public appearance date for Hooser the Bison. That's going to be game 1, that Old Dominion game. So if you wanted another reason to get out to the stadium, like that's going to be the first chance to see Hooser the Bison out in public. But we also got a student ID from Hooser the Bison, which people were freaking out and were saying like that's AI made. And if it is, who cares? If it's not, like the artist who made it is probably sitting there like, what the hell is going on? We've seen Hooser the Bison and Buffalo Wild Wings connect, and there's probably a collab coming in the near future. So that'd be really cool. It's just like a lot of positive momentum with Hooser the Bison. And just I for the life of me, can't understand why people are so upset of the fact that Indiana has a mascot. Like people are just looking for reasons to be upset. I swear.
Yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings needs to relax a little bit, because you know Bloomington's Buffalo Louis territory. Everyone knows that. So B-Dubs gotta stay away. We're not putting B-Dubs in the stadium. We're keeping it Buffalo Louis, keeping it 100. But yeah, I kind of like the cool online interaction. I think that's pretty harmless stuff. But yeah, glad they announced that he's officially making, because I've been waiting for him to actually be revealed. So to actually know it's happening week 1, I think is a good way to go about it. And we'll see. I saw some sketches that he might turn out to be red instead of brown. Who knows?
I would be a little surprised.
That would be a little wild. I think the brown with the red jersey would be great with the candy stripe pants, kind of what we saw in the video. Still want to see. I just need a face card, you know. And I guess we're not going to get it till OD.
We got it with the student ID.
I guess. Sure.
Yeah, good stuff.
It makes me think that maybe it's not set in stone, like what his face is going to look like, you know?
It could be that they're testing.
Maybe they have like 5 different heads for Hoosier.
I wouldn't be surprised. I want to shout out another Bloomington establishment, Brad. Upstairs Pub retweeted my article or reposted my article. That is From Purgatory to Powerhouse, the rise of Curt Cignetti's Indiana football. If you haven't checked that out, it's live on bocfb.com. Shout out to the Upstairs Pub. Like that's a place I've spent many a time in. It was a lifeline truly during our senior year, Brad, as you know. And so obviously
big fans. A lot of the other bars being closed, Upstairs was one of the few ones that was coming through. that was pre-renovation, so we're a little bit old head in terms of upstairs lore.
But yeah,
Remember
just
what
voted
they
number
what
one
they have
college bar.
on the ceiling when we were there? Like what, underwear, shit like that? I don't think they have that anymore. Like bras or some shit.
The renovations look beautiful. I think it was just voted like number one college bar in the country for 2025. Like I can tell
Whoa,
you,
John, I live in Chicago. I'm Midwest fed, Cali bred, Midwest fed. All right, I'm not from. I mean, I don't live in California anymore. I'm a true Midwesterner. The hat might have been confusing though, but I'm in coach fall camp mode. But yeah, what were you saying? Sorry, I had to correct John. I can't believe John didn't figure out I'm from Chicago yet.
yeah, I was gonna say, without a doubt, like I'll be making a stop to the upstairs pub next time I'm in Bloomington.
Oh,
No
for
doubt
sure.
about
We're going to Nick's. We're going upstairs. Might have to skip on. Don't insult me like that, John. Oh my god.
Get him, John. Get him.
Fresno. Jesus. I'm not from the Valley, San Joaquin Valley. No way. No, that's where it's a farm town. I'm not a farmer.
Also,
Anyways.
Brad, before we jump back into football, I want to shout out Devin Taylor, drafted in the second round. He is the highest drafted Indiana outfielder ever.
Yeah, a little disappointed. I thought he was like a round one lock. Him going 48 was a little, probably had something to do with Indiana's season. He's the all-time home run leader in Indiana history. I think he's going to find his way to the big league still, even though he was drafted a little low. Who ended up getting him? Who landed him?
Oakland, or no, I guess Sacramento. Like where are they now?
No, Vegas. Vegas landed him. So he's gonna be a superstar. Him and Rooker are gonna be bomb kings over there in Vegas in a couple years.
Yeah, it's a good spot for him. That's a young team.
Definitely a guy to follow and root for if you're an Indiana Hoosier fan. Devin Taylor. He has a lot of power. Kind of compare him to kind of a Teoscar Hernandez type player. Maybe not going to be. I mean, he used to be like super athletic, great, fielder, but he's kind of bulked up a little bit to the point where he's not as nimble as he used to be, and he's more kind of a power hitter. So that's why I kind of bring up the Teoscar Hernandez comp, because that's kind of how his career has kind of gone as time has evolved for him. And just wishing him the best.
Agree.
Yeah, I don't know how they hit. I don't know if they hit the same. I have no idea, but I'm not that type of ball knower when it comes to baseball. But in terms of impact, I could totally see him having a Teoscar Hernandez type career.
I like it. We are. I know it's a slow news week this week, obviously, but we got very lucky, Brad, given that we record on Tuesday nights. Obviously, next Tuesday is Indiana's slot for Big Ten Media Days. So I was a little bit afraid that we were going to have to do like a media days preview, which how do you do that? Because you have to do it based off the questions people are going to ask and all that yada, yada, good stuff, whatever. But we're going to be live next week with the reactions, with all the Signetti quotes. We're going to get Aiden Fisher. We're going to get Mikhail Kamara. And is it
Elijah Surratt?
Surratt. Okay. It is Surratt. I didn't know if it was Surratt or Carter Smith, and I was trying to look it up and I couldn't find it. I was like,
no, it's seniors only. You know my rule with I
keep forgetting Carter Smith has eligibility left. That's so crazy.
You know my rule with media day, right? Seniors only. That'd be like if I was the coach, like it's seniors only. Like,
seniors and no transfers.
Even like if you want to go to media day so bad, maybe come back for your 4th year of eligibility. Maybe do that.
But last year we got obviously the Mike Kadick ballet story. We got to meet Aiden Fisher. We got to meet Justice Ellison. Like it's just a really cool time to allow people outside the Indiana space to ask these kids questions. And then obviously we're going to get multiple media appearances from Sig. I believe he totaled like an hour of screen time last year. I will caution. Not a caution, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got a little bit more of a reserve Signetti this year, given that how easily he's able to fire up the fan base now. Like, yeah, we could still get like the rah-rah, like Purdue sucks, like all that good stuff. But I don't know if that's necessary to like drive excitement. I think he really just has to say anything. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was slightly more reserved. That being said, it's Curt Signetti. So anytime he steps near a microphone, it's electric. We're going to be watching for sure.
They're definitely going to pry at him, try to get some of that good material from him. I don't know how much he's going to bite, though. He's pretty he can be reserved when he needs to. He's actually generally pretty to the chest and only says things that he truly means. So Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be a big day for you, as you got a day of find
Well,
all
no,
this stuff
it makes my
and present it to me, which is really nice that I don't have to. I just get kind of live. I'm just gonna go to work, and then I'm gonna come back from work, and then you're gonna tell me what happened at media day. I can't wait. I can't wait for that episode. It's gonna be awesome.
It makes my job easy because I'm just gonna sit down, take notes on it, and then I'll have my thoughts fresh in mind for the live show for a live reaction. So, definitely very excited. I think we recorded like the day after last year, or maybe it was even that night. So I think this is kind of like a theme for us.
Yeah.
We're big media day. I'm a big media day guy. I love media day.
We cover every single media thing that happens when it comes to Indiana football. So you don't have to worry about missing out on anything on this show.
Like, obviously, I'm deep in Indiana football. Like, I'm following along pretty much daily. No, I wouldn't say pretty much, like daily. But in terms of like what else is going on in the country, like I'm following major storylines and this and that. But like, I don't really I'm not listening to other coaches, pressers, or whatnot, and what these other teams do with Signetti. Like, I'm just not going and doing that. So having an event like media days where you can go and you can listen, see where people think their teams are, listen to their players, and kind of learn about these guys as humans rather than just football players. As a fan of media, fan of sports media, like I like these big collections of like, let's figure some stuff out today.
Yeah. And it's kind of a shame that we won't see Hooser the Bison there. You know, we were seeing all the they're all in Chicago, all the mascots and stuff like that. So I'm just going to call back to Hoosier. It'll be nice to have him at Media Day next year, but yeah, everything will be good. We're bringing some true star power. I don't know how many other people are bringing 3 preseason All-Americans to their media.
Well, not many people have 3 preseason All-Americans. It's a very small list. It's a very small list. Yeah, we got the Phil Steele All-Americans graphic, but obviously Brad's got his Phil Steele book highlighted, so we've been
I already knew about that. I'm pretty sure I probably revealed it on this show.
I want to talk Indiana recruiting really quick in terms of the class of 2026. There was a couple guys that had Indiana in their top 3, top 5 last week. Nick Reddish ended up committing to Notre Dame. Cottrell Webb, I believe, was the defensive lineman who ended up going to Purdue. Reddish had Notre Dame smoke pretty much since his visit. That was all but decided. In terms of Indiana and Webb, it seemed like for a period of time that they were going to be a match. But if you look at the depth Indiana built in their defensive line room in between, like when he decided to make his decision, it's a deep room. So yeah, obviously adding another talented kid into that room would have been awesome. But it's like, I don't know if I would necessarily, even though they are technically recruiting losses, right? Because they're in those battles. I'm not sure if Indiana was fighting tooth and nail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it really just came down to the Ronell Johnson commitment. I think once they got Ronell, I think it was just kind of like, we don't have room. I mean, if you want to count it up, we got 60 line commitments coming in. Right now, they have currently on scholarship 16 D linemen.
It really did.
The math just doesn't math. You know, if you're going to bring in 6 every year, that the math just doesn't math in terms of how they like to construct that D line room.
It really did feel like their class kind of ended. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Kind of after the Ronell Johnson commitment, after Walker Bryson, like there are a couple guys that they're still in the mix for. Jaquaden Guilford rescheduled his commitment. That's going to be later this week, the 18th. There's still a ton of like Ole Miss, Ohio State smoke with him. So I'm not exactly expecting him to commit to Indiana, although that'd be a really cool talent to bring into the program. And then there's Cortez Redding, whose commitment date is July 27th, who Indiana was heavily linked to for a while. So I would say he's probably the most likely of anyone else left on the board to be a commitment before the season starts. But I mean, what their class at what, 20, 21, 22? Like they have a great class. They're an unbelievable flip location for like when they play well again this year and people can buy in even more. And they're just quickly, or as time passes, they're just breaking down that barrier to long-term recruiting where first year, nobody knows who you are. And it's really hard to build those relationships versus a school that's had 4, 5, 6 years to build relationships with kids. And every year that passes, like you just get to recruit, get more and more ahead of recruiting. And so we're trending in a really good direction.
Yeah, I like where things are going. You know, we're stacking days, stacking weeks, stacking months, stacking years. So it's when it comes to recruiting, I'd say we're right on schedule. We're not ahead of schedule. We're not behind schedule. We're just right on track in terms of where I would expect us to be following an 11-2 season in first year of Signetti in a world where, there probably is some perception like, can they do it again? Can they, I think when you want to commit to a school for the 3 or 4 years, you want to be able to see that they're able to stack 10-win seasons. And once you stack 10-win seasons, then all of a sudden you're getting your pick, you're getting your guys. You're getting your pick of the litter. So but then we're in a rat race with Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, which are places that we've won recruiting battles, but it's also places we've lost recruiting battles. Think Luke Fahey, think Juju Lewis. So I mean,
we can talk we can talk the Fahey thing real quick, because I made the comment that the way that, and I didn't read the article, I'm not an On3 subscriber, so like if there was different context in the article that maybe changed the way it was framed, I just personally don't know that. But the way it was framed was extremely odd. Like it was pretty obvious when it was publicly stated by the Fahey family and by Luke Fahey that Ohio State was a dream school, that if he got offered by them, he was probably going there. Then you look at what Ohio State is doing in the class of 2025, and they weren't recruiting another quarterback. So they bring the kid in on a visit and then make him wait to get his offer. So he's sitting at the airport, I guess, allegedly, like in between who he's going to, the whole thing just seems super odd. Obviously wish the kid nothing but the best. Kurt Signetti was recruiting him, so he's got to have some talent. But it's just like, my question became like, why does something like that get released? Because it doesn't benefit Ohio State. If anything, it makes it look like they were just like jerking the kid around and to play mind games with him. It's a weird look for Indiana, because it's like it would have been IU if it wasn't this. So I don't know. Like I don't want to really speculate on what that could have meant and who that could have came from, but I just thought the whole thing was extremely odd, given how it's been postured publicly. Essentially, his recruitment for the last month and a half was like, it's Ohio State or it's going to be somebody. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know.
I think at the end of the day, it's just an article about the 4-star quarterback that committed to Ohio State. I really don't think it's anything more than that. And just kind of explaining what happened like that. That's a very normal kind of recruiting motion, is that like you're in waiting, you have this offer, you're probably going to commit, but you're kind of waiting on that dream school, that one offer where they're kind of talking to you. You don't know if it's coming, but you're kind of just waiting on it. I think that's just what happened. He was waiting on the Ohio State offer. Clear history with sending quarterbacks to the league.
I get all of
Kyle
that.
McCord, Justin Smith, Justin Fields. Fucking who else played there?
No, listen, I get all of that, but like to position the headline as like, I don't know. It just why is Indiana even being mentioned there? Like it wasn't. It's not like it was like it came down to the wire and there were 2 pitches and one, like they had to think about the pitches and one of them won. It was like, no, there was one of them was going to be the automatic yes, and it happened. So there is no battle at that point. It's not a battle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it was.
No, I know what you mean.
So it's like to frame it that way. I don't know.
Purcell,
I have some thoughts. It's just like, and I've seen a lot of people say like, well, Indiana will just grab him in the transfer portal if he hits the portal. It's like that's not really Indiana's MO either. Like Indiana has brought in Curtis Rourke from the transfer portal and Fernando Mendoza. Like, what do those 2 guys have in common? It's loads and loads of playing time. And if you're going to get a shitload of playing time at Ohio State early, you're probably not transferring. And if you are transferring, it means you probably weren't playing and you're looking for playing time. And yes, Indiana did. I think they were looking to bring in Bo Prabula, the kid who transferred from Penn State, who ended up at Mizzou, and he played sparingly and like talented kid. But it's just not, and obviously trends can change, but it's just not something we've seen from this class. So it's like, I wish Luke Fahey the best, but I think that was like it for Luke Fahey and the Hoosiers, which is okay.
Yeah. And yeah, John makes a good point. Like, we're kind of already moving on to 2027 here. You brought up Jamison Purcell here in the chat, the lefty kid from Park Ridge, Illinois. I'm literally staring right at it right now. because I live in Illinois, John. And and yeah, that'd be huge if we can get him to commit early. I think that's a big thing. Like, we had a delay in receivers, mostly because we had a delay in who we're going to take as our quarterback between all the Brody McWhorter stuff, the Luke Fahey, and then end up being Cash Herrera, who had the best name out of all of them. So I'm taking him. And yeah, it'd be huge if we can get him early, especially considering that we're heavily in the running for the Showtime sales sweepstakes, which I would call sweepstakes because I mean, we're talking 6'5" track speed, right? Like, it's a sweepstakes. That does not grow on trees. No.
Whoever he is a room changer, whichever room he walks into, whether that's Indiana or any other school in the country that produces elite wide receivers. Like, that's one of those kids that just, like, you can place him in any program and he's going to the league. Like, it's like, where do you want to be?
Yeah.
The other thing recruiting wise that happened this week was Rivals 300. The new one just dropped. And, like, I only mention this to say, like, who cares? And there was 3 Indiana kids listed in there. It was Olinger and Ronell Johnson and I believe Gabe Hill. So shout out to those guys. But it's like, I don't need On3's top 300 to tell me Henry Olinger is a monster. Like, you could turn on the film, you watch the kid work out. I mean, I don't know why I like didn't think of him this way when he, like, committed, but when you see these kids on paper and you just see the size they're listed at and you're like, yeah, like high school or whatever, you watch him on film and you watch the kid work out and he's ginormous already. Like, he could probably step on the field physically and play this year. Like, he is a massive high schooler.
Yeah. I think what people forget a lot in recruiting is that these are literally 18-year-olds. Like, they're going to look so different in 2-3 years. And it's like definitely the hardest. It's like easy. It's almost easier to project a college player to the NFL than it is to project a high school player to the college level, in the sense that, like, they're literally turning from boys to men. So it's like, who's to say? Like, don't put too much weight into these rankings. I actually have a funny story. So, Oregon brought in this quarterback named Beaver, right? And he was a Boise State commit at first. He jumped 800 spots after his Oregon commitment. 800 spots. You're telling me an Elite 11 camp is going to make him jump 800 spots? You're out of your mind. Clearly, it's just they're just going with the brand, right? Like, it's just how it goes, and it's all, a lot of it is politics. Like, I'm not going to say they're completely inaccurate. I think there is some merit to them, right? Like, I think you want to shoot for a class that's in the top 25, but in the sense of, I'm going to blow John's brain out with the micro macro.
It's so funny because I full blown agree so agree with your point and the way you make it, that it's like, to me, you're just speaking by language.
Yeah. In a macro sense, like, you want the top 25 class. In a micro sense, like, is this Beaver kid going to be good? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Is Gabe Hill going to be good? I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, we don't know. It's just about trusting the system, trusting Cignetti's evaluation of character and physical potential and natural football skill and IQ to be able to translate and play in the Big Ten not just in the Big Ten, but in the national scene, which is what Indiana wants to do, and going to the playoff every year. So it's all, a lot of it is it's just hard to project. And a lot of a guy commits to Indiana, he's not going to jump up 800 spots. Because Indiana isn't Oregon.
Not yet.
In the eyes of, in the perception and all the clickbaits and all the media and all that, right?
That's why I go to Buffalo.
Things could change. Things could change October 11th, right? One's circled on my calendar. Yeah, October 11th. And one is both teams coming off byes. We're going to Oregon. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be on CBS or NBC or ESPN game day. Who knows? It's going to be a big one. I'm not too sure where it's going to be, but yeah. Stacking days, stacking weeks, stacking months, stacking years. Just take a deep breath and everything's fine. Like I said, we're on track with recruiting. I don't see anything wrong here. The only real red flags for me in terms of this program would be, like, maybe rescheduling Virginia. Like, why is that about it? Like, I don't know.
Exactly. Like, that's what people are up in arms about. Brad, this week, we're gonna close the show here with two segments, one smaller one obviously bigger one because we have plenty of time to go. But before I came up with the Smokies, which is essentially 2025 superlatives for the Indiana Hoosiers, called the Smokies from our origins of Sigs Inside and all that good stuff, and yada yada yada. Yeah, backstory. Before that, though, I tasked Brad and I to come up with 5 hidden gems for the 2025 Indiana Hoosiers. This was inspired by a post I saw, like, I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago or whatever, by Hoosier Commish, essentially asking like who's going to be the most underrated guy. I want to take it a step farther for Brad and I. I put a caveat in there: no starters, no blue chippers. So no Roe Hardy, no Byron Baldwin Jr., no Davion Chandler, no like LeBron Bond and anybody who's really going to get major playing time. Like these are going to be people who maybe aren't expected to contribute, but kind of end up being players that like do important things this year for the Hoosiers. So Brad, I'll defer to you. Start at number 5.
Number 5. Well, I didn't rank them. I just have a list.
Oh, you didn't rank them?
I just
kind of have a list too, but I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Start. So if you're one of your guys is on my one line, which you have, so you should be able to refer to it. And I would say I would even exclude like Benson and Daly, who are on my 2 line. Like we can't, like they're borderline start. Like they're basically gonna have starter type roles in terms of Benson's that 6'0" lineman, and then Daly is rotating with Wyatt and Kamara. It's like he's going to play a lot, and we know he is, and he's kind of a blue chip transfer recruit based on if you read any preseason article. He's the one getting more tick than Kalen Wyatt. But Kellen Wyatt's played Big Ten ball, so I have him as my starter right now. But it's really like those are the 2 big competitions, like Mikowski and Benson, and Wyatt and Daly, and then I guess Hardy and Jones. So like those 6 are like off the table for me, right? So
yep.
I guess I'll start. I had 2 defensive guys and I had 3 offensive guys, because obviously when you're not a starter, usually offensive skill position is usually kind of the way to go. And obviously we brought in a big time running back starter in Roman Hemby. But if you watched any Hoosier football last year, it was Lawton and Ellison, not just Ellison. So like Lawton had 10 touchdowns last year, had a fantastic year. So I'm going to go running back. I mean, we got to go Kalen Black. I mean, no one's talking about this guy.
It's crazy.
In SIG's last year, James Madison, he led that team in rushing. Like he was ahead of Lawton in the depth chart. But Lawton was balling out, and I think Black was dealing with some injuries through, spring and fall camp and things like that, and going into the season, and just really couldn't, necessarily trust him. He just didn't have the juice, and at that moment. And, I think he's one of the team captains on this team, even though he's not a starter. The talent and the production is there. I think he's like in his 6th year. So like the talent, he's going to be fine physically. And as long as he can stay healthy, and yeah, he's we talk about the running back room and how stacked they are with 3 legit guys that could probably be like, if they're starting that game, we're really no drop off just based on kind of the run game that we saw last year and the execution level at the O-line. Kalen Black is going to be a sleeper, and his impact on this team is going to be very high. And I just can't wait to see it. Big number 8, Kobe.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I'm actually pissed that he's not on my list, because he's an awesome pick. Like he's like, you're right, starter level production, like has proven it, is largely being forgotten. An absolute excellent pick for this list. I'm gonna go. I went a lot younger than you did. I'm gonna go with this name first. Jaja Boyd.
Oh, all right. So we're gonna skip a step because he's also on my list too. So we're gonna, what do you have to say about Jaja?
Well, I mean, I'm just a huge fan of the player. I remember looking into him as a recruit coming in. He was a 2-way player in Pennsylvania, highly recruited, going to JMU, brought over to Indiana with Sig and the guys. Got hurt in like spring or summer of last year and didn't really get a chance to get his feet under him at all. He just think defensive back Landino. Like he was, I believe he was player of the year in his conference in high school, and just like a very talented player who's being largely forgotten.
Yeah, I like that Landino of the DB room in the sense that you could probably play all 5 positions in the DB room, whether it's safety, rover, or one of the corner spots. It's like when he's coming in, we're like, what is he? Like, I don't know. It seems like he's getting a lot of ticket safety right now, but that's probably just because we have a lot of corners that are good, right? So what I like about Jaja the most is that he's so versatile and he can kind of come in different spots, different packages, and kind of just make an impact. And very talented player, passes the name test, by the way. Jaja Boyd, probably best name on the team. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he's able to do in his first season playing, which is super exciting for him. And coming off a redshirt year, whether that's going to be a special team ace with his versatility, being a gunner, something like that, or if it's just, coming in on certain dime packages, subbing in for Boykin, maybe subbing in for Louis Moore. Who knows what that holds. Obviously, you can go with a guy like Bonds, but I think we want to see maybe Boyd get some of that, be able to kind of beat Bonds for some snaps this year. I think that's definitely something to look out for, kind of see his development as a player.
Full blown agree. All right, I said I took one from. I don't want to take another one from you. I guess you go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna go another running back, which I think you have on your list. I'm gonna go the other.
No, I don't have a single running back.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? All right. Well, I'm gonna go Lee Beebe. I don't know if he's considered blue chipper. He was pretty highly touted transfer coming in, being the leading rusher.
Yeah, he's a walk on UAB, like
leading rusher though.
He fits the bill.
Yeah, what I like about you're gonna see a common theme. So like he had a lot of production in last year, and he's gonna be either 1 or 2 running back next year for the team. So just kind of seeing his impact. He's clearly the more he's the biggest of the group, and arguably the best receiver too, which is scary to think. And it's like, why is he number 3? It's just he's younger than Black and Hemby is really what it comes down to, and why he's on my depth chart. He could end up being our main guy by the end of the year. Who knows? Like that's how loaded we are at this running back room, where it's like all 3 of these guys, I'll take them. I'll take them as the starter again. I'll give them 20 carries, any of them. They deserve it. They're really talented, and having a guy like that, when you have a running back room where there's 3 different leading rushers on different teams, Kalen Black, James Madison, Roman Hemby at Maryland, and Lee Beebe at UAB. I mean, that is the definition of depth. That is by definition. Like it really, you can't do any better. It'd almost be impossible to do any better than that. So I guess maybe you can get like Texas and Alabama's and Ole Miss as starting running backs. But at that point, like, would they even go for it? No, they wouldn't. So, that group just as a whole is awesome. And I think Black and Beebe, even though they're not starters, I think just filled that bit of hidden gems. Like they could end up being on a given day the main guy, right? Knock on wood, Roman Hemby goes down. Like we're okay. We're gonna be fine.
Wait, no, knock on wood, Roman Hemby doesn't go down. That's how you say that.
Knock on wood, Roman Hemby doesn't go down. All right, my bad.
Yeah. Because the other way makes it seem like you want him to get hurt, and we both.
No, I don't. Yeah, Roman Hemby is obviously he's awesome to play with in NCAA. By the way, Roman.
Yeah, he is. Awesome. He's phenomenal. Don't worry, we're gonna cover him a little bit later. I'll give you another name, Brad. I thought you did a great job of covering him last week. I'm gonna give him some praise again this week. It's Daniel Ndukwe. Again, we saw him block a punt this year. Changed his number. He's my other defensive guy. Oh, nice. Freaky highlights going back to even high school. Again, like you can't take like high school highlights and figure out what a guy's going to be in college. But like when you're just doing crazy shit and just like leaping over guys and catching footballs as a receiver when you're going to be playing defensive end, like, yeah, that's the type of athleticism that plays. And like you talked about the number change last week. He's just, yes, they brought in a ton of talent on the defensive end specifically, which is the area he's obviously going to play in. But I just think that's somebody who athletically, if he had a really good offseason, like he's just going to be really hard to keep off the field.
100%. I mean, it makes the most sense, especially when you can't go Landino, who I think is also going to have a great year. I'm going to go the other D lineman that's kind of stepping up that we haven't really seen too much production from is Daniel Ndukwe. I mean, I always bring up this story of a certain player at I always use UCLA examples. So UCLA at a time where
Pac-12 memory of the week.
Yeah, they had probably probably one of the best linebacking cores in recent memory in my mind, because all 4 of those guys played in the NFL for a while. And they had Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks, Miles Jack, and Jordan Zumwalt. All those guys got drafted. They all played. Zumwalt played about 3 years. He had bad hips, didn't really translate to the NFL. But the other 3 guys played 10 plus years in the NFL, and that's really hard to do. You got to be really good. So that group was loaded, right? So obviously those backups, they got to try to find their roles, right? And they had this really talented linebacker from Long Beach Poly. His name was Jayon Brown. And he would block punts, he would strip on special teams, like just a special teams ace on that team. And yeah, once his time was called, turned out to be one hell of a linebacker too. And ended up getting drafted by the Titans. And that kind of reminds me of Daniel Ndukwe, because he, as a true freshman, came in and blocked a punt last year. And it just seems like when you watched his tape, we were hyping him up when he was getting on campus as like one of the biggest sleepers of that 2025 class, right?
2024.
24
it's been
class.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit.
Time flies when you're having fun. It's just like that's what stood out on film. It's just playmaker. Just naturally. That's a big theme with a lot of these guys they bring in. Just like Ro Hardy, like just naturally good at football, crazy instincts, crazy IQ, just good at football, like period. Like it's not really about like their measurables, because like you said, you can't really project what they're going to be. There's late bloomers and there's early bloomers. And Duke was one of those late bloomers at the high school level. And, he's coming around. He's around like 6'3", 240 now. That's like a perfect edge size. Like I'm excited to see what he's going to be doing this year, coming off the edge in certain packages. And obviously with Kamara there, it's going to be a lot harder with Kamara, Daly White there. There's going to be opportunities for him. And I just can't wait to see what he does. If we can get 3 sacks out of him this year, I'd be thrilled.
Completely agree. So how many names do you have left? Because I have 3.
We have covered 4 of mine.
All right, let's just finish up your list, and I'll throw my 3 at you.
Okay. This is actually my favorite one on my list, actually. Fun fact. This kid is probably one of the more productive receivers coming back from last year in the country. Probably like top 30 in yards in terms of guys returning, coming back. It's Mekhi Jackson. We talk a lot about EJ Williams and Davion Chandler and those guys. Like, there's a chance Mekhi Jackson's our 3rd receiver. There's a chance he's our 2nd best receiver. We talk about how good Coop is. I mean, Mekhi Jackson's just straight up playmaker. You're talking 700 yards, 5 touchdowns, a true yak guy. And you think about this offense where guys are just like, how is he that open? It's like, get Mekhi Jackson wide open on a dig, 15 yards. He might turn that into 40. He's one of those players. And I think he's going to have a huge impact on this team. And, I was just, it's kind of, this thought kind of came from, doing some research on, I've obviously watched film on Mekhi Jackson a while ago and knew he was a big yak guy, but he's ridiculously underrated on NCAA. He's not really involved in the whole scheme. It's just like, man, I feel like Mekhi Jackson could be like that. We talk about who's going to be the slot. Like Mekhi Jackson could do it, and he's about 6'2", 200, just a true like do it all kind of receiver. Can do it on the outside, can go inside. I'm really excited for 2. He's wearing number 2 this year. I mean, I think he's going to have a big impact, right? If you're wearing 2, it's not like you're going to be sitting on the bench. I also like him for punt returner as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to let it slide because he's definitely not starting on offense, but he is, by your definition, the starting punt returner. So I'm not sure if that completely qualifies. But no, I like where your head's at. I went with another playmaker. I went with another wide receiver. I tried to dig a little bit deeper than you. I don't think anybody's talking about Charlie Becker. Like, nobody's talking about Charlie Becker. And
he's on my 3 line right now.
I'm well aware, but with the way this team rotates wide receivers, and again, like, this isn't like somebody who's going to be starting a majority of the games. Like, this is just somebody who you're not expecting to make an impact. And I think like Charlie Becker could have a year where you look back and you're like really excited for him to be back for his 3rd year. Like, this is got time as a true freshman, like not as a receiver, but I believe on special teams, definitely on special teams. and just like willing to do what's necessary to play the position. And like, yeah, I'm huge. I'm very high on Becker.
Yeah, what I like about Charlie Becker is that as loaded at receiver as we still had to burn his red shirt because he just fought and clawed his way into playing time and being the top 2 gunner on the team last year, and therefore we had to burn his red shirt because he was on punt team every game, even though we didn't punt that much. But he was like he's a really good gunner, and I bring back the Jayon Brown special teams ace type analogy to him, where it's just like usually guys that are able to compete early on and just find ways to get on the field, like usually those guys turn out pretty good. And Charlie Becker, remember when he came in, he had that Lane Kiffin stamp of approval with the Ole Miss offer, and he's 6'4", a true outside guy. And yeah, would love to see him kind of get some, kind of step up, make some plays this year. It's just a little crowded, when you talk Jackson and Williams, and then obviously Coop and Surratt, there's only one ball,
and Brady,
so, like,
and Bond and Kendrick. Like, there are a lot of mouths to feed.
He's still a special,
and Chandler,
he's still a special teams ace, and still by that is just qualifies for hidden gem, because I think he's going to be on kickoff, he's going to be on punt, he's going to make a big impact this year on this team. And I think people forget about the special teams aspect of things, and I think Mekhi Jackson and Becker kind of fit that kind of the special teams impact of everything, because it is true 3 phases. I mean, just look at the Ohio State game, right? Like it's important. Got to catch that ball, James Evans. Anyways.
No, listen, we love James Evans. Here's another name for you. Ademola Ajani. And I am such a fan of this kid. I love his game. I love the mean streak he plays with. It is a little bit cheating because he was the spring game starter. But we're hearing Drew Evans, who was the incumbent starter last year, is going to be ready for the fall. So we'll see who ends up winning that position battle. So I may have to disqualify myself on that. But it just like, I'm talking about a guy who just moves people out of the way, just like tailor-made college guard, absolute Bob Bostad guy. Like, it's just a kid who's a true sophomore that is making a very obvious push for playing time.
It's actually a redshirt freshman, so we got 4 more years of Ajani. Oh. In a perfect world, we don't see Ajani this year because ideally, hopefully, Drew Evans is ready to go 100%. But what if he's not? And that's kind of where Ajani could
him out.
Be the guy who steps up. And I mean, Ajani's beating out Drew Evans. I mean, we're just drowning in luxury at that point. Like Drew Evans was one of the best play on a Joe Moore Award finalist offensive line last year, and if Ajani's able to beat him out, obviously coming off the injury, right?
That's why I have Ajani on this list, because of how good Evans is.
And the Drew Evans injury too, like that is something that has to be said. Like, that's an Achilles. Like, that's it's not, he's 300 pounds. That's a big Achilles. Like, that's a big like that's
let's make sure he's healthy.
Sorry, Pacers fans, but it's not a Tyrese Halliburton. it's a much bigger Achilles. I know that was a low blow. Right, maybe. Apologies, my bad. Anyways, but yeah, Ajani. Yeah, I mean, I love the guy just as much as you do. Him and Leibfried, them being able to step up. Obviously, we're still waiting. Evan Lawrence is more of a tackle, and kind of still waiting on him. True left tackle, kind of waiting on him to kind of step up. But Leibfried and Ajani seems like they're ready, just based on the amount of tick that they were getting, being on that 2 deep last year. So it looks like they're about ready to go up. And remember all the transfers from last year. Cooper Jones left and Barrett left. Like, that's because the Leibfried and Ajani are like really good, and we just keep on going. And yeah, really excited about this O-line group, and Ajani's a big reason for that.
All right, I got one more name for you, and it's Jalen Hollywood Bell.
I like it, but it's like, why are you doing my boy Zach Smith like that? Like, I'm a Zach Smith guy.
No, it's not one or the other, but here's why I'm a Hollywood Bell guy. It's just, he comes from a football family. All of his brothers, his dad was a ball coach. I think his dad's definitely still a ball coach. Like, great follow on Twitter, by the way. But he's completely bought in. He's doing all the off-season workouts. He's doing all the, like, he's helping with recruiting and this and that. And he's just like, he's just one of those kids who just, it's so obvious how much they love football that it's like, I'm sitting here. Like I can't see a world in where he doesn't see the football field this year. I just can't. Like I just think the kid loves football too much to be denied. That's really all I got for Hollywood Bell. Like I can feel his drive for the game from here, and like it fires me up. So it's like I just feel like that's a dude who's like, put me in, coach. I don't even care.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that it was tough for me to pick a DB because it's like with the Hollywood Bell thing, it's like if you're gonna pick
that room is so good.
It's like I'm looking at 15 scholarship guys in that room, and it's just like I like all of them. Like there's not a single guy.
I do like all of them.
It's just like I'm not like no. Remember watching Garrett Reese on film? Like that guy's a dog. That guy's just naturally good at football. Deontay Stewart's like, what the hell is he? 6'3". Like, I don't know. Is he a safety? Is he a corner? He's like Jalen Ramsey-esque. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's Jalen Ramsey, but I mean he's Jalen Ramsey-esque for sure. And he's, you got Jaja Boy, you got Bryson Bonds, who's always like highly regarded in the Tom Allen days as like being, the future starter at safety. And now he's still in the 2 deep. And brought in, I didn't even bring up Gandy and Knighton, the 2 transfers we brought in, like sharp as track speed, like Boykin. Like, we're just doing like a guys we haven't really talked about. Like Devon Boykin's a stud. Like he was out for the year last year, and he's gonna be the true rover because he's a true like in the box like corner, nickel corner. Like that's what he is. He's listed as strong safety on the video game, but he's a true like nickel corner.
He plays slot corner in my defense.
But he's like in the box. Like he loves the contact, but he can also cover. Like it. They're low. They're loaded.
They really are loaded.
Oh my god, that is by far our favorite room. I think is the DB room, and it's just like,
yeah. Oh my god, yes.
Obviously, with Jalen Hollywood Bell rocking 3 this year, gotta imagine he's might be able to find his way onto.
I'm just telling you, dude. There's just certain kids you get that vibe of just like they just love it so much. Like Baldwin's one. Like Baldwin disqualified from the list. Like, but again, like, and like. Stewart, it like easily could have been there. Zachary Smith easily could have been there. Like Reese easily could have been there.
We haven't even talked about Jair Alexander's cousin.
Dontre Henderson easily could have been there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the last thing I kind of want to talk about before we jump into the preseason Smokies, Brad. And I don't have the tier list sitting in front of me, and like my intention is not to go through the whole tier list. I just want to bring it up. But Hoosier Hater released his IU Twitterverse tier rankings, which in and of itself, an incredible accomplishment. So shout out to Hoosier Hater. The fact that Indiana even has a burner army or Twitter universe network with that many people and people that weren't even on there that like contribute to the daily Indiana community on that app is absolutely insane. So that's like an accomplishment in and of itself. And, a bunch of like people we're fans of were on there. So obviously super pumped for them, but you know who wasn't on there, Brad? We weren't on there. Neither of us, Sigs inside. So it just makes you want to grind a little harder. It makes you want to get in the weight room. And
that's why I was ripping arms when he called me like about like 2.5 hours ago.
So definitely something to shoot for on the Twitter content version from our end. But we want to show respect to those honored. We want to shout out Hoosier Hater for even coming up with the concept and taking the time to put together something like that. And I will say that I recognize a lot more of those Twitter pictures I recognize than I'd like to admit. So definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know most of that list. I'm just like, who are these people? Like, I don't know. I'm not as ingrained in the Twitter spheres.
I would say I probably had a good handle on like half the list, which is like,
I knew like Pundit and Jamie Jordan, like the people we've had on. Like Carlos Hoosier, I know him. It's like, yeah, it's about it. But if I had to choose a tier, which is kind of soft, like I would love to be in the ball knower tier, government name tier would work for me, I guess. Just having username Bradley Loomis, that would work as well. I'm cool. I just want to be on the list, Just want to be on it. You know, not even the
Gotta-
6
gotta
inside
earn-
account. Like I want Goom to be on the list.
Gotta earn your way onto that list.
Yeah,
Brad.
I know. We're
Gotta earn it.
grinding, man. We're grinding live every Tuesday. We're here.
That's good stuff. It's funny. I just wrote down. I already brought it up. But I wrote down push article. That's all I have as a talking point. Read my article.
That's not
VOCFB.com.
I wonder what's going on. It's because I didn't tweet out the link. I feel like this is my fault.
No, we're gonna get into it, Brad. I reached out to you today and told you that I've devised 12 superlatives for the Indiana football season. I've affectionately called them the Smokies. Like I said before we jumped into that segment, it's throwback to the Sigs Inside, and obviously we have a lot of appreciation for our lineage. And so I'm just gonna rip them. I'm gonna read the award title. I'm gonna read the people I've put on the watch list. I'll let you critique either the title, the list. If you have anything to add, you want to make a comment, and we're just going to run through it. But this is the Smokies preseason watch list 2025.
Sounds good with me. If you guys haven't figured it out now, I do most of the show off the rep. So it's just another example of that. So I'm excited to get into it. As master of the eye test and a true ball knower, I can pull it off.
These awards aren't in any particular order.
Yeah, of course.
They were just kind of in the order I came up with them in. Award number 1. It's the D'Angelo Pons I'm Being Disrespected Player of the Year. Obviously, going into last season, if you were following along Indiana football Twitter, if you followed people like Buffton Prime, then you knew D'Angelo Pons was a really good player. It took the rest of the country a really long time to figure that one out. There are a couple guys, more than a couple guys on this Indiana football team that people have either A, forgotten about, or B, just aren't giving it enough respect to. So the people I put on the watch list are Brad, Amari Farrell, Ro Hardy, Carter Smith, and Roman Hemby.
Man, so you really broke this down. I mean, there's a few guys for me disrespected. Amari Farrell is probably one of the biggest ones because I actually think he's like elite. I saw him. He's not in the top 8 safeties on Phil Steele, even though he's still a top 15 safety prospect in the same book. You know, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I think Farrell's one of the better safeties in the country, to be honest. And I think he's being massively disrespected. I think he's like, we always talk about the 3 All-Americans. Like, it's like, damn near 4. That's how highly I think of Amari Farrell. Excited to see. He's a true junior. So, like, he's only 3. Like, he's just like Pons. Like, he has had a very similar career to D'Angelo Pons. The only real difference is his freshman year, they weren't winning very much, but he was having the same type. He was getting a lot of tick as a true freshman and just didn't get enough attention because they're going 2-10 or whatever the fuck they were doing back then. I don't really know pre-sig too much. No, I do. But it doesn't really matter. Then on offense, like Coop. Second leading receiver last year, and everyone's like, I'm seeing all this SC buzz. Like, obviously, I think if I to be honest, the best duo is probably Tate and Smith, just because like Jeremiah Smith holds a ton of weight. But like in terms of like we're comparing twos, like Coop, Mekhi Lemon at USC, and then like Carnell Tate, like I don't think people realize that Coop can arguably be just as good, if not better, than those guys. So I think he's being massively disrespected. And yeah, and if I had to like change the award name, I'm being massively disrespected. Because I don't know if Pons was ever disrespected. I'll change it to who's the guy in the past who's been disrespected? Like a Micah McFadden or a Peyton Ramsey. Those guys.
This is all we're nothing from the BC era. Like I love Micah McFadden. I enjoyed a lot of Tom Allen's LEO football, but this is we are in the Kurt Signetti era.
Peyton Ramsey was a dog, all right? Just admit that.
Yeah, I love Peyton Ramsey too. I'm adding Omar Cooper Jr. onto the watch list as Brad's adds.
That's fair. And who else? Who else did you call?
Farrell, Hardy, Carter Smith, and Hemby.
Hardy, Carter Smith, Hemby. Yeah, those are all fair. I feel like Hemby gets enough love, but yeah, and Smith has a lot of hype.
I feel like he's like a top 5 running back in the conference, and nobody's talking about him that way.
Smith has a lot of hype. If you want to call Carter Smith, second team All Big Ten on Phil Steele. So he's getting the hype.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. All right.
You know what I mean? So I would exclude Smith because I think there is hype to Will Smith. I saw a PFF
Will Smith
post about him today.
Carter Smith?
Did I say Will Smith?
Yeah.
Baseball season, man.
Are you watching the All-Star game right now?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's funny.
Let me know if Ohtani pitches though.
I'm not watching the game. I'm not watching. We got awards to get through, Brad.
Yeah, my bad. All right.
We have the next award, the Mario Landino Where Did This Guy Come From award. This is a true freshman that's going to make an impact on this team in a meaningful way. I know that I just said Jalen Hollywood Bell as a hidden gem, so I kind of went away from that. The nominees, Brad, Byron Baldwin Jr., obviously. I think he's one of the best.
So we just doing it? You nominate them, and I just pick the winner.
No. This is the watch list. We can't. How are we supposed to know? How are we supposed to know the answer to who is the best true freshman on the field this year when it's July? But it's just a watch list.
That's a good point.
It's a watch list. Byron Baldwin Jr., C3, Seonta Stewart, and Kyler Garcia. I didn't pick either of the wide receivers because I think they're coming in with enough hype and the fact that both of them could potentially be fighting for a starting spot. Or
I'd throw Davion Chandler and LeBron Bond on there, low key.
That's fair. You know what? I will put all the.
Come from? I want to highlight Kyler Garcia. So I think there's a real chance like he can find his way into the like. If I wanted to really nitpick this depth that we have, I'm at the 3 spot right now. I'm looking at the interior, which I think is very strong, like Tucker, Wheeler, Landino up there. Ratcliffe is I know he's graded really well on PFF. Texas State, we'll see, right? He's no CJ West, right? So
I mean, this is
if you want to find a guy that might be CJ West, it could be Kyler Garcia. Like I know it's a lot to ask for from a true freshman, nose tackle, but he fits that mold greatly. And I'm excited for his big 94 in your program. He's I'm excited about Kyler Garcia. That's a guy that where it could be like, oh, where did this guy come from? Like no one was talking about him before. Like Baldwin, Chandler, Bond, those are kind of like outside skill guys that would be as expected, right? Right. And that's kind of like, yeah, of course, like skill guys, I would say there's more opportunity as a true freshman to kind of come in and make an impact. Whereas if you want to go trenches, linebacker, like Roe Hardy making an impact early, like that's a lot harder to do. So I like going Kyler Garcia here, just kind of who I'm kind of eyeing as maybe that true freshman that's able to kind of crack in for some playing time. Like I said, we're loaded, so it's going to be a tall task for him. Because of your
remarks about Ratcliffe, we're going to go here next. The James Carpenter grossly underappreciated grinder of the year.
Yeah, Ratcliffe. That might be exactly what
Dominique Ratcliffe.
He's
Mario Landino.
He's a block eater. Like he's not going to put up the numbers. He's going to eat double teams. That's what he does.
Ratcliffe, Mario Landino, Kyler Garcia, and let me throw another name at you. Jamari Monette.
So just the second and third string D tackles. Okay. And this award is called what again? Can you remind me?
This is the James Carpenter grossly underappreciated grinder of the year.
Underappreciated grinder of the year.
I like Ratcliffe for this. I really do like Ratcliffe.
Can I throw a name on there?
Yeah, you can.
I'm going to throw Jeff Utzinger.
Ooh.
I'm going to throw him in there.
Oh.
Special teams ace, walk on, just absolute grinder. That's a guy like big 3-4 in your program. I'm not going to say he's going to get true defensive snaps, but I'm telling you, I mean, this guy, if you throw him out there, I wouldn't hate it. Right. And linebacker is one of those, I think I've said this before, like linebacker is one of those, like, as it's hard to get in there as a younger guy, but it's also probably one of the easier positions as a walk-on to find your way onto the field as your career progresses. And Utzinger's a very talented. I remember I complained about his 60 rating in the game, which is somewhat fair because he is, I think, still, he might be on scholarship this year because like they're under on scholarships. Like they only had like 80 guys on scholarship. So I imagine like Turvey and Utzinger and maybe a couple other guys might, gotten thrown on scholarship for their senior years. But Utzinger's a junior, and he's a guy that's when I think grinder, like that's one of the first guys I think of on this team.
I wouldn't be surprised, and
he's a culture setter.
I'm not speaking from any like knowledge or anything. I'm not hearing rumblings, and I haven't seen anything about this. But I wouldn't be surprised if hit like Utzinger and Turvey ended up on scholarship, given the fact that I think they're at 79 or 80 is the official count right now.
I mean, so they got to be on scholarship. They've done so much for the program. Turvey's, it's his senior year. He's got to be on scholarship at least. All
right, Brad. This might be my favorite. This might be my favorite award. This is
can I throw one other guy on there?
Yeah.
James Bomba.
Ooh.
And Nowakowski. I like Nowakowski. I think he's gonna. I'm curious to see how he fits into the offense, considering he's more of an H-back rather than a true like Y receiver.
I'm telling you, we're gonna see some. I really think we're gonna see a lot of like 2-back, 3-back formations. Like I think that's going to be a new wrinkle of this offense, and we're going to see a lot of play action boot, which will just they move the quarterback,
which will involve 0.25% of the time. Nowakowski grinders.
Mm-hmm. So I like that. I like that a lot. This is the Elijah Hardy. No, seriously, where did this guy come from? Award.
Yeah, the zero. We don't have too many 0 stars on this roster besides Ro Hardy, but
exactly. So I have Zachary Smith, Hollywood Bell, Garrett Reese, Blake Thierry, and Sean Cuono.
No, seriously, where'd this guy come from? That's so funny. I've always been pretty high on Thierry. He needs more peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, as in he needs to get his weight up. He was in track shape like 2 months ago for like long jump and hurdles. So like he's got pounds to add on, but I mean, if he can get there, that's a guy that's a playmaker. That's a guy that can catch the ball and do something with it after the catch. So it's just all about him getting beefed up enough to where he's valuable in the run game. And yeah, that's the type of like, I might be it might not be a popular opinion, but I kind of lean athletic receiving tight end that you can beef up and coach up to block rather than trying to teach a blocking tight end to catch a ball. I just think it's a little backwards for me. I like leaning like your AJ Barner mold is kind of like my favorite type of tight end, like the 6'6", 240 can go out wide and run really good routes. That's how I see Blake Thierry, and he could be that guy. Like, where the hell did this guy come from? That is a guy that really stands out for. No, seriously, where did he go? Even though we've been talking about, if you listen to this show, we're pretty.
He's the first. He's the first and so far only freak of the week.
Because he is a freak. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, we'll name it. Now he's the 2-time freak of the week. How about that? I'm gonna give it to him. Right, I'm just gonna give it to him every week. How about that?
This is the Aiden Fisher I'd follow you off a cliff leadership award. You ready?
Yeah. You didn't want me to kind of spitball who you have. Here, you go with what you have.
The nominees are Aiden Fisher, Kalen Black, Mikal Kamara, D'Angelo Pons, Pat Coogan, and Byron Baldwin Jr.
Yeah, in terms of guys I know for sure have really good leadership. Like, I've been on teams where there's like 4 stars, future NFL players, right? Like, I wouldn't necessarily call them the best leaders. Just because they're your best player doesn't make them your best leader. And I remember not voting for the 4-star corner that we had. I didn't nominate him for captain because there were other guys that were more vocal, those showed better example. It wasn't like he was a bad example. It was more so like he's quiet. He's a quiet guy. Quiet guy, kind of does his thing. Playmaker, just not super vocal with the team, which is fine. Like, he's still a good guy to be around, like good example, but it's just like not the most vocal guy. Guys I know that are vocal. Fisher. Coogan, Kalen Black. Those are guys that I could see that, and then Mendoza. Like, if I had to guess who
Mendoza should be.
I can guess who the 4 captains are. That might be my guess. Is probably those 4 in terms of who's walking out for the coin toss. If I had to guess, I would go with Mendoza, Black, Coogan, and Fish.
I would probably Kamara is probably out there.
Sure. Yeah, maybe. I mean, like I said, like
you could pick 15 guys to be. Yeah. You could be 15 guys could be captain on this.
I mean, you have a culture like this. There's probably guys filled with him, but like, who's the most vocal? Who is actually the one yelling at guys? I think that's Black, and I know that's Coogan. I know that's Coogan for sure. I know that's Black. I know that's Fisher setting a standard. Probably calling people out.
PK is saying consider Surratt. All right, I'll consider Surratt.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll add from the chat in blue.
Not bad. That's still my pick. If we're gonna go 4 captains going out for coin toss like that, that would be my guess.
So look, we got red and blue. I don't know if you can see that, but the next award, the Mikhail Kamara. Of course, I can do it at this level. Transfer Player of the Year. So obviously, Mikhail Kamara, unlike Aiden Fisher, who was eligible for the award named after him, Mikhail Kamara, not a transfer this year, so he's not eligible for the Mikhail Kamara. Of course, I can do it at this level award. But the nominees are Stephen Daly, Hosea Wheeler, and Lee BB Jr.
Lee BB Jr. We brought in so many like Power 4 transfers this past year as opposed to last year, to where it's like, you know, I'll throw Holden Stays on there just because his production isn't necessarily where I know he was a blue chip top 10 tight end recruit coming out. Like, he was a 4-star, he's big, but like, it's kind of wait and see with him. He's one of those potential overproduction guys that we brought in, and like very similar to Trey Wettig coming in. Yeah, and then PK mentioned the App State receiver. I already gassed up Mekhi Jackson a good bit. I'll throw him on that list as well. I can do it on this level. I think receiver translate. I mean, we saw the production from Cross last year, and we saw the production from Surratt last year, and yeah, Mekhi Jackson's gonna, he's definitely.
Mekhi Jackson fits the mold for sure. I'd take Mekhi Jackson.
100%. And if we're staying group of 5, that's probably a very solid list. Oh, Amarion Knighton.
Oh.
But his role is probably not going to be as big as those other guys we mentioned. But we'll have an impact. But like, yeah, good call out PK. I like Mekhi Jackson. Yeah, Wheeler is supposed to be the real deal. I saw someone compare him to CJ West, and I want it very known that they're very. I know they're both D tackles, but they're very different types of players. CJ West is a true nose. He's going to line up on the center guard. Wheeler can kind of do it all. It's he can go on the edge and he can go inside. So it's a little he's a lot more athletic than CJ West. He's a lot more pass rushy, less run stoppy. If I want to talk to a second grader about it, like he's better at the pass rush than CJ West, but probably not as good in the run. Still very, very good player, and probably the same level of impact, which I've said before, just different types of players, right? But yeah, I don't hate the comparison. I'm just saying, like, they're different players. In terms of who could be CJ West, like Ratcliffe and Tucker are filling that role collectively this year. And Tyreek Tucker's a hell of a pass rusher too. He's not just, Ratcliffe's probably more run stop. Tyreek Tucker's more pass rush. And if I were to compare those two nose tackles that we have, but I kind of just went on a tangent.
No, that's good. I realized I skipped a category, so I'll go back. This is the Carter Smith Man Mover Award for Best O-Line. I know you had a problem with that. You wanted it to be Dan Feeney. I know another individual who played offensive line for Kurt Signetti that now maybe at Barstool sounds pretty good for this award, but don't worry, he's coming up a little later. So hold your horses. But yes, Carter Smith, in my opinion, was the best offensive lineman on the team last year, so he gets the offensive lineman award named after him. So the Carter Smith Man Mover Award for best O-line is obviously the 8 playable offensive linemen we have: Carter Smith, Drew Evans, Coogan, Lynch, Mikowski, Benson, and Ajani.
Yeah, just and Live-Freed. We'll just throw all 8 playable linemen on there.
Yeah, I know.
You have Drew Evans on there, right?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I mean, 8 playable O linemen. What I like about them is that they're really good as a unit. Hopefully they don't go silent count this year. That was the big issue with Ohio State. And
I'm praying that it's a snap count.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
They're never doing so. I don't think they'll do silent count for the rest of Cignetti's tenure in Indiana. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that. And yeah, John said don't forget about Lawrence. I'm not forgetting about him. I just haven't seen it. I just haven't really.
For you, John, though, I'm throwing him on
type
there.
of. Yeah, he's a different. Sure, we'll throw him on there.
For John, for sure.
For John, sure. But yeah, if I had to guess, who's going to be our best lineman this year, it's going to be Carter Smith. And it's just like Benson and Mikowski coming in with in a competition for right tackle, and then for me, it's pretty straightforward if Evans is healthy, where it's Evans, Coogan, Lynch, left to right. I mean, that's a way better interior. I mean, I think we haven't talked about kind of Caden was good, like solid, like can do the job, right? Coogan kind of takes us to a whole nother level when we talk about that group, just in terms of just overall size. Like Kadik was a little chunkier, 6'3", 330, whatever, 320. Coogan's more of a built out 6'5", 310, more of your kind of NFL center build, which I think is going to have a big impact on this team in terms of what they can do. Like, I'm not trying to shit on Mike Kadik, but I do see it as it's a much bigger upgrade than I think a lot of the preseason media and even us maybe are giving it credit for. I know you've been saying it to me on the side for a couple of weeks, but
I love Mike Kadik, so it hurts me to say.
Yeah, it pains me to say it, right? Like,
but Pat Coogan, like that is an upgrade, and that is a massive deal, and his presence not only in the locker room, but specifically, like PK is saying in the chat here, like Coogan has center experience, like literally just played center on the national champion runner-up. Like, I connect the dots, man. Like it's important.
He's got the two returning guards right next to him. Like, that's only going to help when it comes to like communication and things like that.
Obviously, Mendoza is the most impactful transfer because the quarterback position determines so much in football. But like, if you take the quarterback out of it, like, I'm not even kidding, he might be the most important player on the roster.
Yeah, 100%. It's probably the biggest upgrade of any position group we made.
And I love Mike Kadik.
And I love Mike Kadik. Yeah.
And he was good. He was good, really good last year. Yeah. And he was athletic, and he could do a lot of things in the run game as a center that like you're not really used to. And like, he stepped up and played a spot, and we didn't have somebody to play that role. And like, forever goes down in the lore of Hoosier. Like, I love Mike Kadik, but like, I'm excited for Pat Coogan.
Yeah, another guy I'll throw in there in terms, like, since we're on the topic of kind of big upgrades at a particular position, I'd say one thing. I remember we made the list, like the offseason list back in the Six Inside days of like my wish list, and I said NFL stud and NFL rover, and obviously Kamara came back, so we had our NFL stud, and then Boykin, who may not necessarily be NFL guy, but he's definitely like an upgrade from Terry Jones in the sense that he's just such a much better cover guy than Terry Jones was. Terry Jones is electric in the box, open field tackling. Terry Jones got you. Big 12, Terry Jones Jr. Boykin kind of do it all. He's wearing 12 as well this year. It's almost going to be like, it's going to be like, oh, Terry Jones can cover now. Like, that's wild. But Devon Boykin.
Not that Jones was bad in coverage. You can go back and find a lot of plays, especially in that Michigan game.
Devon Boykin's a true corner. Like, Jones is a safety. Like, it's a little different. So yeah. Second the end, Wyatt and Daly and then Dukeway behind Kamara, Linnell Carr. who was coming back the leading sack
Linnell Carr was
leader.
very good last
He was
year.
good, but like I will say, like was kind of missing a little bit at times.
Well,
in terms
no,
of just
here's
like you know.
I'll say this about Linnell Carr.
Go to Linnell Carr's defense here. Yeah.
He there wasn't the same depth at defensive end that there is on this current Indiana team. So Linnell Carr, like those guys were playing all game basically.
Yeah.
Like the amount of rotation, like if you could rotate Linnell Carr in with the defensive line talent they have in this team, like I think he would have been more effective versus like, okay, like you're going to be playing 75% of this game, so you can't be gassing out every third play. Like you need to keep your stamina here. And so I like it's so funny to look at last year because it's like, yeah, that team was really good, but if you go below go into the too deep, like they were so young and so inexperienced and a lot of question marks, and it was like very surface level. Like we really can't sustain an injury anywhere.
Like the ones are really good, but the twos maybe not even
we're
close
young
to as good as they are this year.
Like the twos this year are a major step up from the twos last year, and a lot of those guys, it's because those guys are the same guys, or
that's
just
kind
like
of a health. That's sign
that's
of a
how
healthy
it
program.
works.
The
it's
ones got slightly
program.
better, and then the twos got extraordinarily better.
So like if Linnell Carr was being like able to rotate with Daly and Wyatt, or rotate with Kamara, and like be able to explode in spurts and not have to play the entire game, I think he probably could have had a better season. But he was still really good last year, and that was an Indiana defense that was number 1 against the rush. So like it's hard to get better. You can't get better than number 1. You actually literally cannot get better. So the talent might be better, but the team was good.
Makes a good point. Carr wasn't really a disruptor. I think to your point, like didn't really have the capacity for him to be a disruptor. You know, we kind of needed him to play 50, 60 snaps at the D line, which is very hard to do.
And then especially when you have,
we didn't just
Kamara
replace him with one guy, we replaced him with 2 guys, Wyatt and Daly. So that's a whole nother thing.
And then Ndukwe's a year older, Landino's a year older, like the DePepes, which we haven't even mentioned yet. Like those 2 kids are just in the program. Like they're in the program around, probably doing the right thing because they're still there. You know what I mean? So it's like those are 2 kids that like they could be. That actually, I probably should have added them to the no seriously where did these guys come from list, and I'm going to because like those are 2 like talented kids in the program that nobody's talking about, and they're just around. That's the sign of a talented program.
Yeah.
The next award, Brad, it's the Coach Eddie Award for Best Twitter Presence. The nominees are Coach Eddie, Coach Haynes, and Coach Sig.
Sig,
it's very few and far between, but every time he posts something, it hits.
Well, yeah, because he's like a celebrity. It's like Brad
no, but like, dude, how do you like the not true moment where he just like found this random person making up a story and took the time to comment on it? That was
that was electric. Not true.
You get 4 tweets a year maybe from Sig, and they're all going to be insane. So I don't know if he has like enough volume to win this award, but he definitely puts forward a good foot. There's, I mean, honestly, you could write a majority of the staff for this, but I really think it's Coach Eddie's to lose.
Yeah, I mean that's Eddie's award for sure. And I'll throw I don't know if this counts, Jeremy Gray.
I'll take it.
Okay. Not true. He was totally on his chair when he said that though. He was leaning back.
He was sitting in that. Yep.
Like, how do I work this thing?
We have the Maple Missile Award, Brad. That is the team MVP.
Okay. I mean, come on. It better be Mendoza at the end of the year, else
Fernando Mendoza, D'Angelo Pons, Mikal Kamara, Pat Coogan, Hosea Wheeler, Aiden Fisher. You could argue Surratt and Hemby could be on there too.
Yeah, I want to make sure Surratt, Kamara, Fish, Pons, right?
Here, let me just I'll give you these next 2 in tandem too, then, and then we can finish up on the last one. But we have the Waffle House Offensive Player of the Year, sponsored by Waffle House. Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, Roman Hemby, and Mendoza in that one. And then we have the Tri-5 Get 6 Defensive Player of the Year, D'Angelo Pons, Mikal Kamara, Aiden Fisher, Ro Hardy, Stephen Daly, Hosea Wheeler. All right, now react.
I'm trying to like.
Oh, actually, PK's right. Prince Alexander Moody does kind of qualify for this. He actually perfectly qualifies for the Coach Eddie Twitter Presence Award.
That's funny. All right, defensive MVP. I mean, it's going to be Kamara, Fisher, Pons. Like, even as like, obviously, we're going to get tons of production from Wheeler and Farrell and Ro Hardy and Boykin, and all those guys are good. But I mean, those guys are 3 returning All-Americans. It's going to be hard to convince me that they won't win that award come the end. And then on offense, I mean, if it's not Mendoza, we're probably not having the season that we thought we'd have. Straight up. That's probably just how it will go. I've said it before, the season really comes down to how actually good Mendoza is. And if he's that first round talent, sky's the limit. If he's about same as he was at Cal, probably go 8-4, right? So it's like that's the floor, that's the ceiling. Yeah, Kamara, Mendoza. Like that's so fair, PK.
And then Brad, to close it off.
I think Kamara's going to break that single season sack record this year.
I think he's eyes on it. I'll tell you that.
Just because,
and rightfully so,
like really fits it, especially with all those other guys they got to worry about now with Wyatt and Daly and Hosea Wheeler. It's just going to open up, and Tyreek Tucker too is a really good pass rusher. It's just going to open it up for Kamara more, or else they're just going to have to, or else Wheeler and. If Kamara doesn't get the sack record, that probably means that the other guys are probably getting more sacks.
Eating.
Right? Yeah.
They're just eating. Yeah. All right. We'll end it here, Brad. The Mike Kadick Hoosier of the Year Award for the best Hoosier.
Hoosier.
Because we had the brief Mike Kadick conversation a little bit ago, but Mike Kadick, one thing that you absolutely cannot say about him is that he didn't love being a Hoosier. That man absolutely loved every second of being an Indiana Hoosier and is one of the best representations of our university that we have. The fact that he's at Barstool doing his thing and getting better every day, like that's a massive thing for Indiana football. Like, and the fact that he's such like a personality and he's like the type of person he is that we've heard stories leak out of the Indiana locker room and we've seen him with the shirt and all that stuff. And just like the way his teammates talk about him and the way that his like old teammates still joke with him on Twitter and things like that. Like, we're going to get exposed to even more Mike Kadick as the college football season comes. And that's something maybe that's not the best way to put it, but we're going to be seeing a lot more Mike Kadick. And that I'm happy about because that dude just embodied everything that is great about Indiana University. So I have some nominees, Brad.
Mm-hmm. I kind of have a take on how philosophically I would approach these nominees, but I'm curious to hear yours.
No, I'd like to hear your take because honestly, I struggled a little bit, and the one I felt the most strongly about, honestly, was the entire class of 2026. Like those dudes are so bought in. Like every time I go on Instagram and I'm just like scrolling through stories, whatever, it's like Indiana gear, Indiana blanket, like Indiana repost, like. Locked in, dude. Those dudes are locked in. So I'm pumped for the future. But no, I do have 3.
Don't they have to be on the team though to count?
No, they yes, but I still put them there because I'm feeling the love.
All right. That's my Nick Saban impression because I'm wearing the Nick Saban hat. Who's going to be an analyst at Indiana by next week, probably based on what I was hearing at SEC Media Day.
That's what you took away from SEC Media Day. Do you have any? Here, let me give you the nominees for the Mike Kadick Hoosier of the Year Award. Carter Smith, Omar Cooper Jr., and Bray Wyatt. Jesus Christ. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. Shout out to Bray Wyatt. But Bray Lynch.
Yeah, I have kind of the same philosophy. Like guys that have been at Indiana. I know we don't like talking about BC, but it's kind of those. I kind of just eye the Tom Allen guys when I'm thinking Hoosier of the Year. So comes to mind Omar Cooper, EJ Williams,
Ooh.
Bamba.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Carter
God.
Smith. Carter
Actually,
Smith.
Bamba. The fact that I didn't have Bamba is actually borderline disrespectful. I'm sorry,
Carter
James
Smith.
Bamba.
Bray Lynch. I'm gonna disclude Drew Evans because he was a transfer. Trying to find guys that came in straight up. Who else we got?
Monette, right?
Monette. Yeah.
Are you nominating him for the award?
Yeah, I'll nominate Monette. And I'll nominate Drew Turvey and Utzinger just because they're walk-ons.
Oh, yeah.
And then Bones Jones.
Absolutely.
And then Jamari Sharp and Amari Farrell, two of my favorites. And Louis Moore. I'll throw Louis Moore in there, the boomerang. And then if they were doing that, we're going Khalil Benson too. Getting all this? Oh yeah, Bryson Bonds too. Yeah. Just the guys that have been there for long. It's actually a surprising amount of Tom Allen guys that are still on the team. Considering how bad we were.
Those teams were kind of good though. They were like Carter Smith was recruited.
Bray
Lynch
was like a 4-star coming out of Westlake High School in Texas.
Dude, we talked about winners and all that stuff, and then like you go back 3 straight state titles at Westlake. He's in their Hall of Fame.
Yeah, with Nick Foles and Drew Brees. Yeah.
Caden Turner. Yep, that's a good one. Shout out to John in the chat.
Oh.
Caden Turner, by far the best TikTok presence on the team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've seen too. Yeah, you got Louis Moore too, right?
I did. So I got from you, Brad. I got EJ, Bamba, Monette, Turvey, Utzinger, Bones, Jamari Sharp, Louis Moore, Khalil Benson, Bryson Bonds.
Yeah, that's what
Did I forget anybody?
I don't think so. That's awesome. I love our squad. So sick.
I'm so pumped. That was the Smokies. Obviously, we're gonna have an end of the year award show. Maybe we'll dress up, Brad. Maybe we'll put on like a suits or something, and we'll present awards at the end of the year.
I'm wearing this. What do you mean?
Or the cowboy hats? Should we do the cowboy hats?
Cowboy hat. Yeah, maybe we'll do cowboy hats.
Is it cowboy hat season?
This is a beach hat.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, this isn't a cowboy hat. It's a beach hat.
People obviously wouldn't know this because we didn't have video at the time, but I think we recorded every Sigs Inside preview episode with cowboy hats.
Yeah, it was like a tradition. I have to say, probably something we have to keep going because it's just kind of
breeds winning football.
Yeah, just I don't know, just something to it. It had to be connected. It just had to be.
Hour and 40 minutes in a slow news week, Brad. What the hell are we gonna do when the season starts?
I have to do 24-hour specials.
Well, that's why we're bouncing to multiple shows a week because there's just gonna be too much to talk about. But we appreciate everybody hanging out. Appreciate you guys in the chat helping us with the working list. I don't know where. I'm in the store, obviously, these in my notebook, but I don't know if we're going to create graphics for them or not, just because there's so many names. So maybe we'll do like a preseason or a mid-season like watch list or update. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, follow us on Twitter at IndianaVOCFB. Check us out on YouTube. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We're chasing 500 subscribers before the season starts. I know we were told that was a light goal, but we still got to get there first, and we'll adjust from there. Again, I wrote the biggest piece I've ever written for VOCFB.com, From Purgatory to Powerhouse, The Rise of Curt Cignetti's Indiana Football. Go check that one out again on VOCFB.com. Follow us on Twitter at Alec Keyser, at Bradley_Loomis8. We're chasing that IU Twitterverse tier list. We're chasing it. Check out the Sigs Inside account. We're just tweeting shit from there. And yeah, we're on Instagram and we're available wherever you get your podcasts. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us, and go Hoosiers. We'll see you next week for Big Ten with a Big Ten Media Day recap.
The Big Ten.
We're here.
The Big Ten Media Extravaganza.
Well, it won't be an extravaganza because
I just call everything extravaganza. I'm kind of killing the word a little bit.
We'll see you guys next week. Go Hoosiers.
Cheers.